The great white shark is top of the food chain. Hardly changed since the dinosaurs. It's the ultimate killing machine. This full-grown shark is now targeting Cape Howe on the south coast of Australia. The strong currents here attract fish, which attract seals, which are the shark's favorite food. It's the rich marine life at Cape Howe that also attracts fishermen to these waters. Eric near us is one of them. He specializes in abalone, a large sea mollusk and culinary delicacy.
I call myself an underwater labourer. Basically, we crawl around the bottom of the ocean measuring abalone and collecting them. It's a pretty strenuous job. If I don't catch a certain amount of abalone each month, I don't make any money, so I can't pay my bills. To tell you the truth, that day I was only half-heartedly getting ready to go to work. Being school holidays, I could have found something more interesting to do, like take the kids out to a park or the movies and have a family day out.
Today, Eric's 16-year-old son, Mark, is joining him. He's working as a deckhand.
Mark was only out with me to make a bit of pocket money for himself. He'd only deckied for me about 4 times, so he wasn't actually what you'd call experienced at all.
Mark isn't as comfortable as his father in these waters.
Every time we've been out before, like, we've seen sharks, and there'll be sharks, like, just fly in front of our boat. I don't know, it was just a morning, like, it was real freaky morning, like, real quiet and, like, no noise or nothing like that. Sort of think to yourself, something's gonna go bad, something's gonna go bad.
Mark's intuition is dead on. A hungry great white has returned to these familiar waters, where it hunts its favorite prey, seals. In the water, Eric breathes through a long hose that feeds him oxygen from onboard tanks. He also wears special clothing.
I wore a lead blind weight vest. It has about 7mm thick lead plate sewed inside it, and it fully covers your back and most of your chest, and that keeps you on the bottoms.
Although shark attacks are extremely rare, Eric knows it's a hazard that goes with the job.
When you're a diver and you're in, their domain, you've always got that inkling in the back of your mind. I wonder if a shark will show up. The water was actually dirtier than I normally would like to dive in. That's when you start to even imagine that there's something out there, and the hair on the back of your neck will stand up, and a seal or a school of large fish go past you, and all of a sudden you'll start to think, okay, I wonder if there's something chasing them.
Surprise is the great white's best tactic. Stealthily, the hungry animal closes in on its next meal.
Seals are very cognizant of sharks being in an area, and it's not unusual to see them haul out under those circumstances.
Unlike the seals, Eric hasn't yet picked up on the shark.
I sort of wound my way around the boulders and the kelp and just sort of hugged the bottom, and after an hour I filled up my first bag, and I sent that bag up to Mark. I remember looking up at Mark at the hull of the boat. I could just see it, and I thought, beauty, Mark's doing his job. He's right above my air bubbles. He's a good kid. He's following me. He's not too far away.
Mark's not sure why, but he can't shake the feeling that something's not quite right.
It was just weird, like, and I kept going over the side of the boat and looking down, and it didn't feel right. It didn't at all.
was getting into cruise mode. You know, you sort of get into daydream mode where you just work and forget about everything else. It's so peaceful too. You can only hear the hum of your air regulator.
Humans wearing a black wetsuit are doing a pretty darn good job of making themselves look like a seal or a sea lion.
One second it was daylight, the next second everything went black and a really nasty vice-like pressure crushing my chest and upper back. And I wasn't really sure what had actually happened to me.
The shark has taken one supersized bite. Eric's head and shoulders are in its mouth. One arm is down its throat.
Inside the jaws, I couldn't see any light. It was just all dark there because I was facing the back of his throat. My right arm was actually hanging down the shark's throat. My arm refused to work anymore. It felt like it was broken.
The head in a seal is the working end of the critter, and sharks know that much. If they can bite off the head, the rest of it's an easy meal.
I'd never experienced anything like this in my whole life.
Eric's lead vest has stopped the shark's razor-sharp teeth from slicing him in two, but this only makes the animal more determined.
Then I started to get shaken horizontally with a really hard threshing motion.
When a shark head shakes, what it's doing is dragging its teeth, especially its upper teeth, through the prey from side to side like this, and sawing through the prey.
By thinking, oh, is this the end? Is this what it's like to die? I was actually getting eaten alive.
A great white shark has half-swallowed abalone fisherman Eric near us. All that's saving him from certain death is his lead diving vest.
My instinct kicked in, and I had a free left hand, and I started to feel around the jawline of the shark, and I reached up higher, and I felt a slimy membrane. I realised that must have been the eye.
Eric gouges his fingers deep into the shark's eye.
Anything we can do that demonstrates to the shark that we're big and strong and are willing to fight back is a good thing.
Surprised by the counterattack, the shark begins to loosen its hold.
And I started to wriggle out backwards a bit, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get out or not. And just as I thought I was going to be free, the bottom jaw closed, and I felt these teeth going into the back of my head, into my skull. I twisted as hard as I could again, trying to gouge the eye, and the shark reacted again.
The animal at that point reacted by letting go as a matter of defense for its own self. Sharks aren't dummies. Eric caused it pain. It realized that it had a formidable foe there in the water.
The shark was looking at me like face to face. It's the scariest sight I've ever seen.
As Eric's blood seeps into the water, the shark waits for its prey to weaken even further.
The white shark will bite and let go its prey to cause exsanguination, leaves it to bleed to death till it gets weaker, and then it comes in to finish it off.
You really think your time's up. You think, okay, it's got me. It can fly into me and finish me whenever it likes. When you're in a situation where you feel you're going to lose your life, you get a few thoughts that flash through your mind. And I thought about Mark. He'd never see me again. And I knew the mental effect that would have on a 16-year-old. Sort of tried to calm myself down, and I thought, well, if I panic, I'm only going to be dead anyway.
Eric is faced with a life or death decision. Swim to the surface or try and hide from the shark somewhere on the sea floor.
The water was going a dirty brown colour around me from blood loss. Blood attracts sharks, and that's when I made the decision that I was going to go to the surface. And as the shark slowly circled me, I spread my legs and arms out a bit so it could see that I wasn't a seal. I was something, different to what it normally would eat.
Eric heads for the surface. It's a gamble that could cost him his life. If the animal reacts to the sudden movement, Eric's finished. Searching for abalone on the sea floor, Australian Eric near us has been half swallowed by a great white shark. He's managed to fight free, and now he needs to get out of the water before it strikes again.
Those marble dolls with the black painted eyes, that glossy black colour, that's the colour of those sharks' eyes, just a dead black. And when you've got those eyes on you, and they're only like 1 to 2 metres away, it makes you feel very small indeed. It really had a tough job holding back the fear.
Eric breaks the surface, but the 15-foot monster is still circling below.
The whole time the shark was just below me, going around and around my flippers, and it could have, taken me any time it wanted to.
The shark didn't want to just rush right back in because the last time it did that, it didn't have a pleasant outcome.
Dad? I'm coming!
All Eric wants is to get out of the water fast.
I screamed at Mark that I needed help. He came straight over to me.
Eric makes it out alive, but his wounds are horrific.
I suffered a broken arm, a broken nose, 4 teeth went into the back of my skull, and my other teeth marks are in my chest. So thank God for that lead vest, or I wouldn't be here now.
Eric tried to return to abalone fishing, but fear kept him out of the water. Now he works on dry land as a security officer.
I can't even say how much it hurts still to this day, the knowing that I could have lost the best thing in my life, and I just don't know how to say it. There's no words that can literally say it.
When you've had a narrow escape and you sort of feel you've been given a second chance, it makes a great deal of difference to your life, and all of a sudden you start to appreciate things that you didn't even think about before. We're pretty good mates, young Mark and myself.
Ever since people first ventured into the seas, we have been afraid of the monsters that lurk below. The great white shark has always been the most feared, infamous as a ruthless predator that will kill anything. But the smaller bull shark is actually fiercer, packed with more testosterone than any other creature on the planet. These naturally bad-tempered sharks can attack their prey in as little as 2 feet of water. When a bull shark bites, almost nothing will make it let go.